Hello everyone, and welcome to another animated look back. The Fox and the Hound. Boy, is this movie a mess. And I'm not trying to say that I don't enjoy it, but this movie's tones are all over the place. It's like two completely different tones fighting for domination of the film in order to decide what type of movie it's going to be. A serious animated movie or a silly cartoon. And you take these sides battling for war and control and you put them together, and now you have the Fox and the Hound. So let's take a look and see how that turned out. The story of Fox and the Hound follows a young fox whose mother is killed, who is then adopted by an old lady. Her neighbor is a hunter who just bought himself a new dog named Copper, a little puppy who is going to train up to be a hunting dog. And while this puts them at odds right from the get-go, they don't really know that they're supposed to be at odds and become good friends. They play, they have fun, they enjoy each other's company, but then Copper is taken away for a year where he's trained up to be a hunting dog, and he comes back, and as both of these characters have grown up, their friendship is then put to the test. And then when the older hunting dog Chief gets injured by chasing after Todd, this puts them directly at odds with each other, and now friends have become enemies. One thing that have caught me off guard with this movie was the beginning. Mostly because I forgot how intense it starts. Because, you know, it's like when they put the opening credits up there, usually in an animated feature like this around this time, they have nice music, maybe a rendition of "When You're the Best of Friends" in the very beginning, you know, there's at least the melody of it. Here, dead silence. And then you start to hear the dogs barking. And then the intensity starts to ramp up from there. Then you get the music, and you just get the feel of the chase as the mother is running away with her baby in her mouth. You know, just running with the dogs barking, getting closer, closer, closer. You feel the intensity build up, and then... well, that didn't take you very long, did it, Disney? Now, the first thing I noticed that strikes me as a little odd about The Fox and the Hound is that Todd and Copper don't actually get to speak at all in their first scenes. I guess you could say that maybe because they're too young, and maybe the film, you have to let them grow a little bit older before they start talking, but that's really odd, because it's like we should want to get into the heads of our main characters right away. I mean, on Copper's point of view, maybe you don't want to do that because, like, Chief doesn't even talk in his first scene either, because, you know, they're in front of a human. But for Todd, like, he's just lost his mother, and the only ones interacting are these birds.
Come on, let's go, Boomer, come on.
Oh, yeah, but oh, shucks.
Yeah, Todd's mother was just shot and killed, and what do we focus on? These two birds trying to get a caterpillar. You see what I'm coming about with the whole tone difference thing in this movie? It's really weird. I mean, right there, that's the movie's problem in a nutshell. I mean, the main focus of the story, which is two characters that the world says should be on the opposite sides, becoming friends before the world can tell them that, and then that relationship is, you know, put to the test as they grow older. I mean, that is a great and even challenging idea for a kid's film. You could even argue this movie did Zootopia before Zootopia did Zootopia. But then we go from that to this. You know, honestly, I think that movies are starting to realize that you actually don't need comic relief characters anymore. What you need is characters that you like who can be funny. You know, a fully realized character with a full personality who can also be funny is much more interesting rather than this is one character and his only job is to be funny. Because while I don't find these two birds annoying, I don't find them interesting either. They just show up and then they try to get the caterpillar and fail. And honestly, it's not even done in that super crazy or over-the-top ways that make you have to laugh. It's just something that's there in the movie that bogs the film down, and it's really pretty much just filler. Because we could have been using that time to find out more about our two main characters, or giving them a more discernible personality. We also got Big Mama, who is the owl who first finds Todd. She's fine enough. I don't really have any problems with her. I wish they gave her a little bit more to do, because as it stands, she's just like the character that gets Todd from point A to point B, you know? How does Todd find his way into the house with the old lady? Big Mama sets it up. How does Todd find this girl fox in the woods? Big Mama sets it up. But I think that her character has a great voice, and that does add to a lot to her character.
You need, Oh, no. Not me, not Big Mama now. Now, I'm thinking though.
I wish the film was able to, you know, use it better. I'm not saying that the actress didn't do a great voice thing. I just think, for example, there is only a couple songs in this film. The one that most people will realize is When You're the Best of Friends.
When you're the best of friends, having so much fun together, you're not even aware you're such a funny pair.
But then you also got this song, Lack of Education. If you can call it a song, there's barely any music, and it feels like the most awkward song. It's like when you like try to get everyone to dance at a party, but nobody else is doing anything. You're like, hey, come on, somebody join me. It just feels weird.
Now, if you're so foxy and old Chief's so dumb, then why does that hound get the fox on the run? Because he's got the hunter, and the hunter's got the gun. Kablam! Elimination. Lack of education.
But as I say, the voice acting is great with her, and that adds a lot of character. Then there's the old dog Chief, played by that guy who plays every grizzled prospector in the world. Oh, there it is! Also the Sheriff of Nottingham in Disney's Robin Hood.
Hey there, Copper. What you sniffing at?
Something I never smelled before, Chief.
Let me see.
I think they handle the character pretty well. Well, except for one thing that'll get later in the film, but, you know, the character can be menacing when it needs to be menacing. You know, you buy that it could kill Todd if it got the chance. And that scene where Todd goes into his doghouse when he's asleep, man, as a kid, I was just like, you're an idiot, Todd.
It's a big old badger.
Copper. He's chasing the badger.
No. It ain't a badger. It's a fox. A fox.
And then the surprises starting hitting me. Yeah, you might ask, well, what do you mean surprises? Well, then I started recognizing some names. And I didn't expect that. Like, the first name that I recognized as adult Todd is played by Mickey Rooney. Really? Huh. Well, that's really interesting. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay, whatever. Adult Copper is played by Kurt Russell. Really? How did I not know that? I feel like I should have known that by now. How has nobody ever brought that up? Oh well, it's not like any of the younger characters are played by anybody. Now, Corey Feldman did young Copper? How did I not know these things? Oh, well, I think the kids do a good job with the voices. I wish they were given more stuff to do, because as it stands, they meet twice, play a little, and then boom, they're best friends. It's a little quick, isn't it?
What you smelling? I'm on the trail of something. Trail of what? I don't know yet.
I mean, I know they're kids, and kids make relationships fast, but still, The fact that they've just met and they barely know anything out of each other other than they like some of the same things to do, I don't know, that doesn't seem a whole lot to base a friendship out of, to be best friends already. Okay. Oilers fan, eh? Yeah, you know, I just don't know how a team that has an amazing player like McDavid can lose so much. Now that they fired both their head coach and their GM, maybe they'll get something done. Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
When you're the best of friends.
Oh, no, wait. No, we're not. Yeah,
So
we just
much
met this
fun.
guy. We don't even know each other. Yeah, I know.
You're not even aware you're such a funny pair.
Well, I guess we're friends now. I guess so. Want to hang out later? Yeah, I guess
Life's a happy game.
Bye. That was weird. Who am I kidding? I wish it was that easy to make friends. The only complaint I have is that we never really get that much of a character for Todd. I mean, he gets into trouble a lot, but I never really know why. It's not like it's his fault all the time that he's getting into trouble. And if they gave him like a character attribute that he was a prankster or loved, doing stuff, or he was a little bit of a brave nincompoop or stuff like that, I don't know. Some of that stuff could have given him a more clear character, but we never really given anything of that. He just happens to go into the situations and get in trouble without really knowing why he's going into those situations in the first place. Copper is a little better, but not by a lot. I mean, because for him, we see his curiosity, and we see his natural skill, as he was able to track Todd down when he's still a puppy.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd. What's your name, kid? Mine's Copper. I'm a hound dog. Gee, I bet you'd be good playing hide and seek. You want to try it, Copper? Can I use my nose? Sure.
So that gives him a little bit more of an identity, and you buy it when he's now an adult, like, oh man, how much of his skills must have grown by now. Well, before I talk about how this film handles their characters as adults, let's talk about the animation for a little bit. Because this film doesn't always use it as its best. I mean, there's some elements that are really good. I like the character animation, you get a good range of expressions. The ending climax with the bear, that scene is flippin' incredible. But when you look at some of these scenes, boy, did they not age well. I mean, I envy past me who could watch a movie like this and not notice the clear divide between the background and foreground animation, because even looking at simple stuff like this scene with just Chief laying there, you can really tell the divide between the two. It feels similar to what I was talking about with the story. There's a clear divide on the message we're trying to get across here, and you can see it with the tone of the movie and with the animation. And so I guess that means this is as good a time as any to talk about the behind-the-scenes divide that went on during this picture, and how that changed animation history forever. You want to know why? Because this is the film that led to Don Bluth leaving Disney. I mean, I was looking up the history on this film, and it seemed like there was a fight between the old guard of Disney and the young up-and-coming animation team, as Bluth and the new animators felt that Retherman, the producer, was too stern and out of touch with the way things were going. Don Bluth even walked out on the project on his own birthday. Wow. I mean, I just love to think that maybe he stayed at the workplace just long enough to get cake, and then took his cake and said, I quit, and then walked out. Dang it, Don Bluth, that's cold. But that wasn't the only divide. There was also a big controversy in the story department over a little issue of how they were going to move the story forward. That being whether or not to kill Chief. Here's the thing. The Fox and the Hound works mostly because of its premise alone. Two characters who are supposed to hate each other becomes friends before they're able to know that, and then grow up, and that complicates things with their friendship, and in the end grow to hate each other and then have to fight each other. I mean, that's a compelling story all on its own. That's why it's not that big of a deal that Todd isn't really the most defined character. Because we, the audience, are supposed to be able to put ourselves into his character. So, the more plain and the more just straight we can put ourselves into his character they make him, the better. But in order for this story to work, you need to have the Hound turn on the fox in a believable way. And they had all the right ingredients. You have the old mentor who's really set in his ways and wants to kill this fox. This fox that is a friend of the Hound. All you gotta do is kill off the old mentor in a way that puts the blame on the fox, and boom! You got instant character development. It's easy! But that isn't what happened.
Chief, get back in there before I break your other leg.
You know, when I originally asked the question, oh, Chief should have died, why didn't the creators do that? I was wondering if maybe I was being a little too hard on them. You know, maybe if that was something of the times that I was expecting them to be making an animated movie that was well ahead of their time. You know, I thought maybe I was doing that, being too hard on it. But no! No! Chief's death was in the original script. In fact, animator Ron Clements, who was also involved in the story department, protested that Chief has to die. The picture doesn't work if he just breaks his leg. Copper doesn't have enough motivation to hate the fox. But nope, co-director Art Stevens shot that down, saying, "Geez, we've never killed a main character in a Disney film, and we're not starting now." What?! That film came out almost 40 years earlier. And if that's not good enough for you, here's some other main characters that were killed in Disney films before that. The Evil Queen from Snow White, Maleficent, and Flippin' Old Yeller! Listen here, Art, don't you try to sell to me that Disney doesn't mean death in some other languages, because Disney is soaked in blood. I mean, in the beginning of your own film, you did this! I will admit, probably the film's biggest shortcoming is that without Chief's death, Copper's motivation feels so over the top for just Chief getting a busted up leg. And if you think, no, getting a busted up leg is more than enough motivation for Copper, well then let me ask you this, would Bruce still become Batman if the thief shot his parents in the foot? I don't think so! Oh, and besides, let's just be real here. This guy has dogs just for hunting. No ways he's taking care of a dog with a busted leg. He's gonna take that dog behind the barn and shoot him. So, you didn't save anything, Art. But anyway, when Copper is coming after Todd and all of his rage and hatred like he is in the movie, you need to believe that he would actually go that far. And to have Chief with just a little busted up leg, it doesn't work for motivation. It's actually quite sad that a film that is about getting along with other people had so many people that did not get along in this movie. Because in the end, this film's strength is in its message. A message that I think maybe even be ahead of its time. I think that Kurt Russell as Copper and Mickey Rooney as Todd, I think they portray that very well. And I mean, they don't have too many scenes together. I mean, heck, Kurt Russell did his entire voice work in 2 voice sessions. So, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of lines. But that one scene that they do have together where Todd asks if they're still friends, it works very well. I mean, you can really feel the heartbrokenness from Todd when Copper says, no, we can't.
We're still friends, aren't we? Todd, those days are over. I'm a hunting dog now.
For Mickey Rooney, though, I will say he had some things that worked and some that didn't. But I never really felt like it was his fault. Like him being alone in the woods and not knowing exactly what to do or where to go. I think he portrays that very well. The scene with him falling in love with the other fox is... ugh. I mean, we come across this female fox named Trixie, and I think that, like, she's kind of a pointless character. I mean, she shows up, hears about a male fox, and she's like, oh, well, I'm interested in that. And then he sees her and instantly falls in love, so he tries to show off, and then that doesn't work, so he ends up insulting her, and Big Mama sings a really rushed song, and the next thing you know...
What a beautiful morning, Vixie. You know, I've never been happier.
Yeah, I wonder why. And as the film continues, it makes you feel uneasy, because no other Disney film has really accomplished this as feeling as you're being hunted down by your best friend. It's a unique feeling that really works. And I will say, the scene where Copper steps in front of the gun for Todd, very well done. I actually believe that he would do that at that moment, and that the hunter would put his gun away. I just wish that with Chief killed off, the scene would have felt like it meant something a lot more. So in closing, as I said, this film is a mess. It's not a terrible mess. I like it. I mean, its tones are drastically different, and there are some things that don't hold up. But its unique story brings it up quite a bit. And while the writing on the characters isn't amazing, the voice acting all around is good. And yeah, I might only really like half of this film, but the half that I really like. So now we come to the question, hey, Laser Dude, why do you even review this movie on Animated Look Back? This is kind of a lower-key Disney film. I'm kind of surprised you reviewed it. Well, here's the thing. That is because this is my sister Deanna's favorite animated movie. Oh, I don't think she thinks this is the best animated movie ever made, but it's her favorite. I mean, she loves it so much, and whenever Copper does his little woo, she loses it. I mean, she loves that so much. She thinks it's soup's adorable. And since she got married, I was going to make this review as a little bit of an extra wedding gift for her. She got married in July. What can I say? I got busy. The top 50 animated superhero episodes, I just didn't get around to it, sorry. But in any case, Deanna, this one was for you. My final rating for The Fox and the Hound is a 6 out of 10. So thanks for watching, everybody. I am Lazy Dude, and be sure to join me my next animated look back. Whew, what am I going to do? I got to do something quick because we got so many of these Disney remakes coming out this year that I need to get to before they come out. So I'm just going to do a movie that I don't like so I can get it over quickly. Alright, so my next review is B-Movie. Oh, I can't rush through this one. It sucks too much. Anyways, I'm Lazy Dude. Be sure to join me on my next animated look back. That's not going to be fun. Oh, hey, a little bonus feature for you who waited. Guess what? While that is my next animated look back, that's not the next one that's going to be coming out. You might be confused. Well, let me just give you a little bit of a hint, a little bit of a tease. One of my lost animated lookbacks has been found. Leave you on that to think about.